There's been a lot of talk recently about the idea of romanticizing your life. I've seen it talked about a lot on TikTok with a lot of accounts that are really showing this embodiment of this idea, but it's also been poking its head around Instagram and YouTube as well. I found myself really identifying with this conversation because this idea of romanticizing your life, living life like you are in a Studio Ghibli movie, picturing yourself as the main character of your own story is something that I've been practicing kind of my whole life. So I really wanted to add my voice into this conversation. In this video, I'll be talking about what this idea is to me, why I think it's important to do, sort of how I practice it, and I'll also be talking about when things aren't quite an idealized fairy tale. So what is romanticizing your life? For me, in a way, it's a form of mindfulness. It's being aware of what you're feeling and what you're sensing in every moment. Taking pleasure in the small details of your life, viewing and moving through your life as if you are the main character in a story, appreciating those moments in between that we can often overlook as chores or empty space. I've always thought that, meditation and mindfulness and being present is very important for people to do, but I've always had a hard time connecting with the idea of mindfulness that's always most often talked about. There's just something about it that doesn't get at the core of me, which this idea of romanticizing your life is much easier for me to practice and see how I can fit it into my life the imperfect way that it is. So why romanticizing your life? Why do this? It really helps you appreciate each moment for what it is, helping you see and appreciate what you have at that moment on that day. And it's something that is very intentional. You're actively practicing appreciating the life around you. Now, in terms of my history with this practice, I've always been somebody with a very big imagination. Something will spark my interest and I'll make up a whole mini story based on this object that I saw or this place that we found ourselves in. And that practice of finding the fantastical around me has always existed in my life since I was a kid. When I was a kid, that would manifest in a way of pretending I'm the secret wolf girl who's trapped in a human body. But as a kid, it was more of a passive act, I guess. It was so ingrained with the experience of being a child. But as I've grown older, it's become more of a deliberate act. When I moved to Devon, I really struggled to feel at home. You might think, how can this be? It's such a beautiful place. But even still, I was moving somewhere I had never been before, and the decision was made pretty quickly. In the cities where I've always lived, romanticizing my life involved going to museums, sitting at a busy cafe watching the world go by, taking myself out to see a production at Shakespeare's Globe. Moving to the countryside was such a different way of life for me. I set myself to actively embody my surroundings and my new life, and romanticizing my life allowed me to start to feel at home in a place that was so different to anywhere else I had lived before. I like to start each day with a coffee and a biscuit. And this is something simple that you likely already do, like choosing a mug that makes you happy. It doesn't have to be this super aesthetic scene, but just surrounding yourself with small things that give you a bit of joy. I like to start my day with a bit of silence, so I'll read a short story or a poem with breakfast. Getting myself ready and picking out an outfit is very important for me. What I love about fashion is the power a change of clothes can have. You get to decide who you want to be that day and how you want to face the world. I like to put on a record while doing my hair and makeup and jam along as I get ready. big thing that helps me romanticize my life is getting outside. I try to get out of the house almost every day off. I decided to go on a walk, and I thought this would be fun to do with the dog, so I went and stole one. Don't tell Moira. Yeah, come on! Where's your lead? Where's your lead? Oh, there it is. Sit. Good girl. It smells amazing right now because there's a ton of wild garlic that started to come up.
Home going where the chilly wind never blows, and ain't gonna be treated this way.
When I'm out in this countryside, I like to sit and enjoy the landscape. Sometimes I'll draw or do some journaling, but today I'm just enjoying hanging out, watching the world go by with my pal Nettle. Yeah.
What is it collie with a lurcher?
Yeah, collie lurcher, exactly.
That's what we had a collie lurcher.
Aw, she's so sweet.
Yeah, my one was. Can I say hello?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, they feed me on cornbread and peas. Oh, they feed me on cornbread and peas. Oh, they feed me on cornbread and peas. And ain't gonna be
Sheep butt. Sheep butt. Once I'm back home, I like to give myself a moment of rest. For some people, this might be napping, but for me, I don't really nap. So I relax my brain by playing a calm and cozy video game. It's not always a video game. Sometimes it's crocheting or doing some coloring. But either way, it's more of a mindless task that lets me relax for the rest of the evening. So now, what do you do when things aren't out of a storybook? I'm someone who has really struggled with my mental health in my life, so I do know that sometimes things like this is way easier said than done. Even still, when I've been at my absolute lowest points, this idea of romanticizing my life is something I've really clung on to. In those tough moments, it really allows me to focus on the things I have control over. This goes for everything in life, but especially when you're trying to get through a tough moment. But focusing on what you have control over really helped me get through those times of difficulty. I knew I could always find solace in those small moments and eke out those bits of myself even when everything around me or the rest of me felt really far away. And those small moments can really build up over the course of a day, a week, a month, a year. You can still have those moments where you've created a bright spot. And when things are good, well, then this idea is everything. It allows me to just live my life to the absolute fullest in a way I'm not able to otherwise. And here down in Devon, it's allowed me to really become myself in this space and really feel like this place is my home. I would love to know if you've ever practiced this idea of idealizing your life, romanticizing your life. Do you have any other methods of mindfulness or making yourself appreciate those small moments? I would love to know what has gotten you through any tough times and how you appreciate the life around you in times of difficulty and in times of happiness. I hope you enjoyed this little window into my life and how I deal with those good and bad times and allow myself to be myself and feel connected to my inner world. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. If you enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like it. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe. I upload new videos every Friday. I hope you have a great day wherever you are, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Sorry. Oh my gosh. Mwah. I'm someone who has really struggled with my hental mouth. Shush. People are allowed to run. They're allowed to do it.